Grab it.
Okay, we're hot.
Ooh, we're hot.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the cabin.
A little late tonight.
Technical difficulty when you record over something.
Right. I gotta have my coffee before we get started here. We're gonna share a couple little items here before we get started.
Hey, we are live. Man, look at that guy that's in that screenshot.
I know it. Who is that guy?
Man, that guy's man, he's sitting right between us.
Going to do things a little different tonight, folks. Actually, our first segment that we've got is already been pre-recorded. It was an interview we did at ATA show.
Yeah.
So that was with Mike Gustafson.
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 Yes.
Yeah, Danny. We had that discussion many times during that interview. But so if everybody's watching the live stream, to catch Mike on the show in Buckhaven Learning Center, they do a kind of like a Wounded Warriors type hunt. It's for combat injured veterans and combat disabled veterans. They take 12 of those guys out on a hunt. So make sure you guys go over and take a look at that.
Yeah.
Take a listen to that. So we're going to share a couple things here before we get going, and
then we can get going.
Yeah, we'll get rocking here. So
Tom Butler is in the house.
All right, Tom, what's going on, man? Pennsylvania.
We're watching Pennsylvania today. Lancaster.
That's right.
Shout out to Dan Yassa.
Dan's watching right now. Dan Yassa, man, I watched you.
Dude, you rocked it.
You rocked it, man. Really proud to say that he helps us out here at Up North Journal, and it was so cool to watch him shoot live on the internet.
You know, it was awesome. You know what? I'll even go out and I'll even say he earned a bullet.
He did earn a bullet. Yeah,
Yep, I'll buy him one.
All right, good deal. So Dan, you got to come up to get that. So that was pretty cool. It was exciting being able to watch Lancaster shoot live. I do have to say that was a whole new experience for me. That's the first time I've ever watched it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
A lot of good shooters, man. A lot of great shooters. Let me put it that way. All right, one more here. You ready, Dan?
It takes nerves of steel.
Oh, there's no way I could do that.
There is just. You could do it.
Dan was ice cold, man.
You could do it.
He had ice water in his veins running, man. That was pretty cool. So, all right, I've got everything ready to go. Are we ready to get this thing rocking tonight?
Let's do it.
All right, let me get a record going here, and we're going to start the show off tonight. Like I said, basically we've done the first segment of the show already. So for the podcast, so we're going to pick it up in the second segment, just like we're coming back out of a break. So
Dan says he'll be up for that bullet.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait.
Nope. See,
we got a little something going on here.
Where did we go?
I don't know.
Oh boy, I tell you, entertain the folks. Don't worry, they can all see our guest in between us. Oh, what do you got there? Oh, you're turning something up.
Yep, that ain't good.
No.
This is what happens when
there you go.
This is what happens when you take the...
Oh, yeah, we totally broke the studio down.
We tore the studio completely apart. We were on the road, and things get switched and messed around a little bit, so... Okay, you ready, Danny?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Stand by. 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back. Second segment of the show. Sitting in the cabin tonight.
It is time.
It is time. It is time for what?
It is time for our big announcement.
Well, you've got somebody here that's lurking in the background behind us.
Well,
who is this?
Well, that's part of our big announcement that we kind of been teasing along, that you've been playing along your little music box there. And
I have been playing all week, and it's been a pleasure to play with all these calls. Tim Sias here from, is it Hearts?
West Virginia.
Yes, West Virginia.
Right there, see?
Lynn Walker game calls. You can see our shirts. Tim, welcome to the show, and thanks for helping out Up North Journal here, so we appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Look forward to everything.
Oh, that's music to my ears.
It is proud to bring him on board as a sponsor of the show. We'll be using his calls exclusively this year for our turkey season.
Absolutely.
And not just calls. We've got
the turkey sling.
The turkey sling.
How did you get started with game call making, Tim? I mean, what got you into this besides the love of turkeys?
Well, before I was married, just found a hobby.
Okay.
And I got started with the internet, seeing how things was made, how people was doing things and picking up. And I thought, looking at what guys was doing and stuff, I thought, well, shoot, I can do that too. And so I just started buying wood and buying the tools and equipment and doing a lot of trial and error. And next thing you know, here I am.
So you're not a woodworker by trade? This is a hobby?
This is strictly a hobby, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You know, you see guys who may be a woodworker, a finish carpenter, or a cabinet maker, or something like that picks up these things and starts, you know, making calls, whether it be a box call or a slate call like these, or what have you. So that's awesome. Now, let's take a step back in the Wayback Machine. How did you get involved in hunting? Was it as a child? Was it as a family member that took you out and got you into this?
Oh yeah. Back when I was my father, he would carry me through the mountains when I was 2 and 3 years old.
Wow. Okay.
He would take me out squirrel hunting, and when I'd get too tired to walk, I'd say, "Daddy, I'm tired," and he would have a gun in one hand and pick me up in the other and walk me through the woods. And when it come time, he would sit me down beside him, and we'd squirrel hunt.
Now, is that right there in West Virginia?
Yeah, southern West Virginia.
So he had some good arms and some good legs, because
it's not flat.
It's not flat land like it is here in the Michigan thumb area where we live, you know, or mid-Michigan area. So I can just imagine hauling a kid around, hauling a shotgun. Let me ask you this. What did you do when you got a bag full of squirrels or you got a turkey? I mean, at what point did you have to get down and walk? And he's like, you just got to take care of yourself now. You got to walk because I got to carry all this other stuff. Or did he make you start carrying stuff?
Well, not now. I didn't get to carry no gun until I was up in age. It was probably 9 or 10 years old before I got to take a gun.
Okay.
But I would get to carry the squirrels in my vest. I had a little vest just like my dad's. It was the old brown tan,
right?
Tan vest, and of course, you know, he would get a squirrel in his vest, and then he'd kill another one. I got to carry it, and then. When we only had a 6-limit squirrel, so he would have 3 and I would have 3.
Okay, all right. Now, where did the passion, the love for turkey? When did that come along?
When my dad, he would take me out probably 11, 12 years old. I started turkey hunting.
Okay.
And now here where we lived in Logan County. I was grew up and raised in Logan County, and we didn't have many turkeys here. When I was that age, and someone said, "Hey, we saw a wild turkey," you call them a liar. The only turkeys that was around here were the tame turkeys.
Okay.
Most of West Virginia turkeys was on the eastern part of the state, and that was in Greenbrier County, where we had a camp over there.
Okay.
So during the spring, I didn't get to hunt the spring because of school, but he would sneak me up on the weekends, and we'd go up and hunt the Monongahela National Forest.
Okay.
So as we was up there, hearing my first gobble and knowing what it's like and seeing, he taught me what turkey scratching was. Told me, showed me how they roost, where they roost, where they dust themselves in sand, how they clean themselves.
Mm-hmm.
A turkey track. I was 10, 11, 12 years old.
So he broke you in pretty early. You cut your teeth when you were a youngster.
Yeah.
So this hasn't been something you've just taken up here recently. I remember my dad got me involved in it, I want to say in 1998, 99, somewhere around that time. So, I mean, I've come on to turkey hunting later in life. I wasn't raised in it like you were. So that's got to be something to be able to run around the hills and hollers and mountains in West Virginia with your dad and be able to chase turkey like that.
Yeah, my dad was my best turkey, was my best hunting buddy.
Right.
At the age of 19, I killed my first turkey.
What was that like?
Well, now let me say this. The reason why is because, like I said, I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get to go out hunting much like that. So once I got out of school and I was able to go, I got to go for the whole week when I was 19.
Okay.
The first day of the season on 1991, I killed my first turkey. My dad called in my first turkey. What was it like? I was on cloud nine. I finally broke the ice, and it or got the monkey off my back.
Right.
I was in the hunting camp. I was the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Because I was the only one that had a turkey hanging up.
Gotcha. What do you remember about that hunt? I mean, other than just killing the bird, was there anything special about that hunt that you remember?
Yeah, I can remember seeing the turkeys coming down the hill to the flat where we was at and stuff. And I can remember watching the gobbler going back and forth because there was hens with him. I should say that there was hens with him.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the dreaded hens.
Oh yeah, first day of the season, and I trying to get my gun up without spooking, being seen was the hardest thing I did. It was the hardest thing. I can remember doing that. Now I want to tell one on me, and I don't really care, but I unloaded my gun on that turkey.
Okay.
And I still missed it, and I still didn't kill it.
Okay.
I had to load my gun up with 3 shells, and on the third shell of that second load, I killed that turkey.
Okay.
You were throwing lead.
When I started shooting that turkey started flying to me.
Flying at
Towards
you?
me. Yeah, it started flying towards where we was at.
Okay.
And I was just shooting, boom, 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 out of excitement, adrenaline. I wasn't taking aim. I was just pulling the trigger. The turkey coming, I'm shooting up in the air.
Sure.
And finally, Dad said, "Slow down." And the turkey hit the ground, and that last shell, I shot and killed it.
That is awesome.
That's a story. I tell you what, that's memories for sure. That just. But it's funny when you say shoot at them and then they come running at you or flying at you.
Yeah, we've had a story like that with one of the guys we used to hunt with. Actually, still do hunt with occasionally. But yeah, you just never know what's going to happen out there. That's what I love about it. The springtime, it's warm. You got birds working. I don't know, man. There's just something about turkey hunting that just makes the hair on the back of my neck stand.
There is nothing better than sitting there in the darkness and then all of a sudden they just fire off.
Right on.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
So Tim decided I'm going to get into turkey call making, and we got with us 3 calls. What is your favorite call? The slate, the glass, copper, aluminum. What's your favorite type?
The double side call, the plastic pot that you have there.
Yep.
The glass over slate. That's my favorite.
I'm partial to those myself. It just gives you a little versatility, I think.
Right. I have 2 calls in one right there.
Yep.
And you can do so many different things, especially on that slate.
Oh, I love slate. There's one thing I like, a slate. You got one in front of you?
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it. You're the man that made the calls.
That's right.
You play them.
Let's hear the professional.
I do. I like the slate. I can get a fighting purr with it.
Boom.
Boom.
I wouldn't even wait to the end of that, but boom.
Oh, man, that's good stuff right there.
It is. And so that was the slate slide. Play the glass slide. There you go.
When you're out running in the woods and you've got your calls with you, we've got the different pegs here. Do you run with multiple pegs? I mean, different styles or different hardnesses or different materials?
Yep. Yeah. I My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he always makes fun of me because he said I always had one of everything in the Cabela's and Bass Pro magazine.
Right.
But I'll probably have 5 or 6 different strikers.
Okay.
Yeah, we do too. Greg K on Facebook says, Tim, I can see Dallas telling you to slow down.
Yeah, that Dallas was my dad. Yeah, that's true.
And right behind that comment is Christy,
That's my sister.
and she says your dad would be so proud of you.
I hope.
Oh no, there's no doubt he would be proud of you. There is no doubt. You've taken something you found a love for, and you're making these calls. And how long does it take you? Well, okay, so we know you like the glass over slate, but out of the wood ones, what's your favorite wood type to work with?
To work with would be the wild cherry.
Why is that?
It's not so hard when you put the knives. When I got it on the lay, it doesn't splinter out. It doesn't dust out. It's very, very good wood to work with, and it's very beautiful. And about this one, let me tell you about this. This was cut here on Harts, where I live. It was cut down, was milled, planed, dried, and then put on the lay and cut all here on Harts, West Virginia.
Okay.
This piece of I call it wild and wonderful cherry.
Okay.
Is what I use, but it's just a very pretty wood. I mean, it's hard for me to show this to you through the screen without you looking at it, but it has the grain and the texture of it, and look at it. It's very pretty, and I want to be honest with you. When you take a black walnut, and it's just as pretty. This is from Harts too as well. There's a big difference between this wild cherry and this black walnut in the sound. I believe a light color wood has a better sound to it.
When you say better sound, what do you mean by better sound? To somebody that maybe doesn't really understand what we're talking about here, has a question about what do you mean by that?
I believe that I can get a better tone, a better way I want it to sound.
Okay.
I believe I can this. You can get it, it's not as I'm kind of lost on word. I can just make a better sound out of this wood. I can make this wild cherry
sound more like a turkey.
Yeah, thank you.
A true representation of it.
Yeah, I can make it sound better. Where it's light, it's not going to be compared to something dark, where you're going to have a dark tone.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So a hard wood has a darker or a heavier tone to it.
I think so. Myself, me being what I do, I think it does.
Okay.
I think it does. And then now, here's red cedar. This comes from Elk Creek, Virginia, and this is almost 50 years old.
Okay.
And there's a difference in this sound, and there's a difference in this weight of this call.
Which one's heavier?
The wild cherry.
Okay.
This one's a lot more dry. I mean, this is 50 years old. It had been cut, planed, and milled for over 50 years. It was sitting in a woman's basement where her husband used to make knives and use it as a knife handles.
Oh, okay. All right.
And her son, me and him used to work together, and he messaged me one day. He said, "You interested in some red cedar?" And I said, "Well, what you got?" And he said, "I got about 25 boards that my dad used to use." And I said, "Well, what do you got to have for it?" And he told me, and I said, "I'll be down Saturday."
Right.
Right.
So, and it smells. It's red cedar. Mm-hmm. The smell of red cedar. It's awesome.
Which pegs? You sent us 3 different types, and one is an acrylic.
Yeah.
So which pegs do you like working with the best?
Okay, you should have got a diamond wood, a hickory, and an acrylic.
Mm-hmm.
The hickory, which is what I always provide with to my customers, and simply because the hardness of the wood, and it's not real soft, and it's heavy. And you can ask a lot of guys that does competitive calling or something like that with the two-piece. If you do a two-piece, a lot of guys will drill the top and put lead in to get a certain weight. Well, with the hickory and everything, you have it, and it will still be able to get the sound that you want with the pressure on the surface.
Okay. All right. Well, with that thought, hold on. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the rest of the strikers.
Okay.
All right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this. For those of you on the live stream, we're going to continue here. Just hang with us real quick as we save this off.
Yep. And also on Facebook, Glenna Jason Moore, go brother-in-law.
Yeah, Glenna Jason Moore, she just become a grandmother today.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's always good.
She welcomed her first grandson, Christian Dean Eastham, into the world today.
Wow.
You got to love that. All right, we ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Stand by. 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back. Third segment of the show. We're still sitting here talking turkeys, and we were talking about strikers before we went to break, Danny.
Yeah,
about the difference.
We're talking about the different. He sent us 3 different ones, and the next one you're going to talk about the acrylic.
The acrylic is a waterproof striker.
There you go.
If you have a monsoon, if you have a foggy, misty morning, and you pull out a slate call, pull that acrylic out, and you can use it as long as it's raining.
On a slate call?
The what?
You can use that on a slate call when it's wet.
Yeah, acrylic, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
The slate can be wet as well?
Yeah. Yeah, you can take a peek like what you're drinking now. You can pour it on your slate call, and you can run that with acrylic all day long.
I did not know that.
Now on the ends of that, one thing I don't do with mine, on my calls or my strikers, I will not, unless you ask me to, I will not do nothing to them because I let people work their own surfaces and work their own slate.
Okay.
Work their own strike.
Right.
Right.
Everybody's different.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. Some people get very particular as to their strikers and that.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, and that was a question I was going to ask you. Is the acrylic? It simply looks like it's just cut square,
Yeah.
on the end. It's not rounded like you would think the other pegs are, and that was one of the questions. So you do that so everybody can work them the way they want them.
Yep. That's
Okay.
just a piece of acrylic rod, dowel rod.
Okay.
And I cut it to a certain length, and and I put it into the striker head. And
Okay.
and I have one of them in my vest every time I walk out the door in the spring.
I know what's going in my vest right now.
Yeah, right.
Now,
Even if the weatherman says it's going to be a sunny 80-degree day, beautiful, nothing to worry about, that's still in my vest when I leave.
well, how many times have I been out, Danny, and sitting up against a tree on a morning waiting for the sun to rise? You get that heavy dew or that morning fog just kind of settle in, and I look down, and my slate's wet, and I'm like, really? It happens so often.
Or you're sitting under a pine tree or something and it starts dripping.
Yeah, so now, would you suggest on these acrylic they need to be rounded like a normal peg?
Not like I give on that hickory striker. No, you don't have to do it. Just take you a piece of 60 or 80 grit sandpaper.
Okay.
And just kind of smooth out the tip of it.
Okay.
And see how just whatever you be comfortable with where you can get the sound. And like I said, you can actually pour some water on it and work it to see what you want to do. If you have to do some more sanding on a certain part of it or anything like that, that's what I always suggest people to do.
Okay. All right. Right on. Interesting.
It's pretty simple, actually.
Okay. I got a question here. I've noticed a couple of the pegs that I use on the very ends, up on the heavier end of it, they're hollow. The people or companies will drill them out, and why is that? Is that to resonate sound, or is it to get weight off, or what's the reason for that?
Both.
Okay.
You like I said, the heaviness and the dense of the wood and everything, with the amount of pressure you have on the surface. Like I said earlier, some guys, competition callers will do this. They will drill out the head of these, and they will pour lead in it to make it heavier. So, yeah, you can, and some guys, too, me and another guy was talking about this, how they do it. They will get lead. If you've ever seen them right here, they'll have like a pinhole that goes drilled through. Mm-hmm. They will take like a syringe some way and be able to put that lead down in there to put the weight in that and make it heavier. Okay. Especially for like a key striker. When you want that key on a surface, mm-hmm. You have certain type of wood. A lot of guys will use rhododendron. A lot of guys will use dogwood and stuff like that. And they'll put that. Somehow they'll do it and put it in there and make it for the heaviness of it.
Okay, I got you. Right on. All right.
And that okay, so that's two of the three strikers. Now the third striker, which is a darker wood.
Diamond wood. All right, so that is probably the most popular wood striker that is out there on the market today. On one of the Facebook pages that I'm on, I believe it was the Turkey Hunting Calls, I put a post to do a little poll and ask what is everybody's go-to striker, and about 80% of the answers were diamond wood.
Okay.
And you do get a real good sound. I mean, you do get, a good sound with that diamond wood. It's an exotic wood, of course, and
yeah,
I love that sound.
That means the weather's getting warmer.
No kidding.
Not soon enough.
Right. Okay, now all these are basically the same diameter. I've got a striker that's actually bulbed on the end, on the peg end of it that plays on the slate or whatever surface. Why are those made that? Is it just to elicit a different tone?
Yeah, you'll get the ones that's flat on the end. You'll get the one that's rounded. If I'm mistaken, did I send you guys the rounded ones?
Yes.
On the end?
Yes.
Okay, and then you'll get like the mushroom flare.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
And then you'll get some almost like a pencil. Mm-hmm. And it's just where guys has got out with trial and error and done different styles. Okay. And has been able to make a sound, and they put it out there. The next guy sees it, and he's like, hey, look what, Tom, Dick, and Harry's using here, and
right.
Joe and Don's using over here, and everybody's trial and error and research and development.
Okay.
Yeah.
R&D.
There you go.
Try a little of this, try a little of that.
Speaking of little R&D, one of these wood calls, the slate one, how long would it take you to make one?
From starting it from the blank to the time that it's ready to be glued together?
Yep, there's a blank sitting on your tabletop, and I'm going to make a call today.
20 minutes.
In 20 minutes, he can have a call.
I can have the pot ready to be put conditioning, put oil on to condition in 20 minutes.
Okay. There you go. That is awesome.
Okay, so if Danny has a tree up north, let's say it's a cedar, okay, mm-hmm. and it's been laying in the woods for 20, 30 years, and it's still intact because cedar lasts a long time, and mm-hmm. he cuts, a 6-inch section out of it or whatever you need to turn a blank out of, and he sends that to you. Is that something that could be done?
Yeah, actually, there was a gentleman messaged me yesterday and asked me if I would do it because his grandfather had a piece of red cedar from their farm.
Okay.
And he asked me would I make a call. He wanted a call made out of that wood from their family farm, and I said send it to him.
Okay, right on.
Yep. Now and I have to go scour my property for cedar.
Well, we've got white cedar here in Michigan, up where we're at. It's a white cedar.
It's a white.
Have you ever turned white cedar, or is that not something that would be useful to make a call out of?
I've never used white cedar. I would be more glad to try.
Okay. All right.
I might be hunting for cedar.
Well, we've got plenty of it blowed down on our property.
Right, exactly. We got a ton of it.
Okay, let's say we've got, there's a tree like you just said on the family farm, and somebody wants to have a call made out of that tree. Mm-hmm. What diameter and what length of blank would they need to send you? A chunk of wood?
A 4x4 by 1 inch thick.
4x4, 1 inch thick. Okay, and when you say 1 inch thick, we're cutting cross grain.
Yeah, 1 inch thick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And while we're talking to you, if anybody wants any information on Limb Walker game calls,
where are they going to find you at?
Where are we going to find you at?
Facebook at Limb Walker Game Calls.
So there you go, everybody.
And I'm on Instagram at Limb Walker Game Calls.
You have a regular website as well?
No, I did, and I sold more on Facebook than I did off of the website, and so I just did away with the website.
Okay, that makes sense. Save money.
Yep, absolutely.
And we're going to have a link to those as well as
you're going to see a lot of these coming up as we get closer to turkey season. Mike was already playing with it. I was videoing him this week, and
did you see the video? My grandson.
Your grandson was messing with it.
Yeah, well, he was on the crow call earlier today, but we got the call on his hand, and he couldn't make the connection, so of course I had to help him just a little bit. But
right,
yeah, he loves playing with the calls. Let's talk about the turkey sling. That's something we haven't talked about yet. It was a turkey sling. Where did the idea for that come from?
A few years ago, I had injured my wrist. And I had went out hunting. It was on a Saturday morning, and I had killed the biggest turkey I've ever killed. It was over 22 pounds.
Okay.
And I was trying to carry it out along with my gun, and I couldn't. It got to the point to where I pretty much just set everything down and went and got the Ranger and had to go get it because it was played on that TFCC tear, which meant the ligaments and the tendons was tore away from in my wrist. They were tore. I could still use it. I just couldn't, pick nothing up or, grab or anything. Yeah. Gotcha. And when I had to have surgery, and when I was home recuperating and stuff, I got to thinking, I said, I'm doing it. I said, there's got to be something for somebody that you can use, to carry a turkey out. And I started with paracord, and it bombed. It just did not take off. And so one day I'm out in the shop, and there's some material out in my shop, and I got to looking at it, and I just started studying on it as I looking, and I started moving it around and configuring it different ways and different things. And next thing you know, I'm at a sewing machine and had my wife's aunt to sew it, and that's it. So that started the first part of it, but I was still under the R&D part. And last year at our Jake's hunt at the local NWTF chapter, the Logan area chapter of the NWTF, mm-hmm. we had 5 hunters. And I donated 5 slings, and I told them, I said, you guys are going to have to, I said, you guys kill the turkeys, you guys are going to have to help me. I said, because this first they hit the market was last year.
Okay.
And out of 5 hunters, 4 killed them, a turkey. And I told them, I said, check them out. I said, tell me if they're too long, if they're too short, if they're not wide enough, if they're not, if they're too wide.
Right.
I had these kids that range from 8 years old up to 15 years old that were doing my R&D for me, and I finally came up with what I wanted, and their dads helped me. They give me some advice on what we needed to do and stuff like that. And then I've had other friends tell me so. But from the injury of my wrist, I come up with Tim's turkey sling.
And you got a nice black part here that is on the sling that rests on the top of the shoulder
pad.
Yep.
Yeah, non-slip shoulder pad.
Exactly. I was just about to say, it's non-slip. It's got the little beads on the one side. Put that on your shoulder, and your hands will be free to carry other things like your gun.
Also, too, I mean, number one thing is the safety part. It's blaze orange.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's traditional for a turkey hunter to kill their turkey. They're going to carry it out with their wrist, on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this here, when you do that, you've got a turkey over your shoulder, and then you've got a gun on your sling, or even if you're carrying it, you've got both of your hands
tied up.
Tied up. With this, you've got that sling on that turkey, and you can maneuver that turkey however you may want it. If you want to put it over your neck, I wish I believe it or not, I'm sold out of them right now. I'm waiting on the rest, my new batch to get sold. I sold the rest of them yesterday. But you can put however you want to put it over your neck, or just put it on your shoulder. But you have your hands free if you're walking down a mountain, walking down the road, and you come across a coyote. During the spring, hen calling, I don't know how, 2 or 3 different times I've had coyotes come in on me last year.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're calling, you can call those coyotes. You got a gun, and they're going to be around. You can take and shoot that coyote.
Right.
Because your hands are free.
Right.
Who knows if Mr. Rattlesnake's going to come up on you?
Right.
Who knows if something else might come up on it? That you never know when you might have to defend your own self.
Right.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
It is. Yeah. You never know. I mean, it could be. It could even up here where we're at. It could even be bear.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here we got bear too. I mean, if you come across a mama bear with cubs, she's going to take care of them babies.
Right.
Oh yes, she will.
Right.
And you have to protect yourself. I'm sorry to say that there may be a situation, but that's what I was. It's hands-free, nylon webbing. It's not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's durable, and it's got the loops. That one's going to go around the neck, one other loop's going to go around the legs. You cinch them down. Now the wings might open a little bit or something, but you can always tap it back in together. But
right.
It's just something that's makes it comfortable for you.
Yeah, I think too. Like you say, you get that hand free, walking in and out. I mean, how many times have we been walking and we're packing stuff out and you lose your footing? You got a hand free to grab a hold of maybe a nearby small tree or something, or crossing over a fence, what have you. It keeps you from having both hands tied up and being in like you said, a situation that could get yourself in some trouble.
Absolutely. And not only does it come in orange, it comes in another color.
And what would that be?
Hot pink.
Hot
pink.
pink. Okay.
For the ladies.
And there again, it's safety.
You're right on.
It's there's a brightness to it when you're walking out, because last year I had 5-6 other hunters around me, and yeah, don't take the chance, right?
Right. I got you.
So, but no, that's awesome. Another thing that like you said, you picked up on it, Tim. When something happened to you, you figured out a way to get around it.
Mm-hmm. It just, and it's going to help. It's going to help everybody. Not only if it's an elderly person, but a young person. A mid-aged adult that might have an injury such as myself, or just don't have the strength to carry one out like that. They can put it up on their shoulder if they have to. It's got a lot of uses to it and everything.
Absolutely. So, you know what? With that, let's step outside. We'll take another break, and then we'll come back and finish up the show with Tim here.
All right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this. Guys on the live stream, hang on. Send your questions in if you got questions.
Any questions for Tim? Let's see. Let's check Facebook here. Big Time Timmy from Joey Adams.
He lives right up the road from me.
James A. Toth checking in.
James, while we're saving this one off here, I want to give a shout. James Toth, he's the guy here locally that I met doing On the Trail this last week, talking about the Ducks Unlimited banquet here locally.
Oh, okay.
And he is the Michigan treasurer for Ducks Unlimited.
Oh, gotcha.
And after we got done shooting, him and I stood in the parking lot for probably half hour to 45 minutes, chatting, talking, hunting. Now I love. You meet somebody and all of a sudden you just start talking.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden an hour's gone by. So
typical hunter.
yep, it was good time.
Arnold Killian He's got 2 paracord gun slings off Tim, and they're his best slings going. You do slings as well?
Yeah. They're 40 inches long, and it goes. They're brand new. Well, of course, brand new. Obviously, the sling mounts. They're definitely right at 60 feet of paracord in them.
Oh, okay. Lucas Browning says, "Hey," and Carl.
Lucas, Danny, that little fella, he's an early teenager, and he's just now getting into hunting.
Awesome, getting into hunting. I like it.
Yeah, he watches my live broadcast, and me and his dad has been friends for a long time. And he's a good kid. Actually, he shot at his first doe last fall.
Congrats, Lucas. Good
Way
job,
to go, Lucas.
Yep, absolutely.
Carl Birchfield, Tim definitely is going to get that autograph now.
That crazy nut. He's on the pro staff with me.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. You want to talk a little bit about the elk in your area that they've brought in?
Oh, last January they released 24 elk from Kentucky.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. We'll come back. We'll talk about that a little bit. Okay.
Well, we're also getting from Arizona. In 30 days, we're getting almost 60.
Okay.
All right. Geez. And Josh Thompson says, "I want to make an order, buddy."
Okay.
All right, here we go. Stand by. 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back. Last segment of the show. Chatting with some of the people here on Facebook during the live stream here in the break. And actually, what we're going to talk about now really doesn't have anything to do with turkey hunting. We're going to talk a little bit about elk.
Well, something that was in Michigan. We've tried to do it. We've done it with moose.
Yeah, and we've done it with elk too,
Yeah.
and restored the elk here in Michigan back in, I want to say, 70s.
It was the early 60s that the hunts were, I think, because I don't know if my uncle was one of the last ones to get one.
On the elk?
On the elk.
Before they stopped it?
They stopped it, and then
Okay.
I think it was the mid-70s they did some transplanting.
So now, from what it sounds like, Tim, you've got elk that they brought from Kentucky. Now you said Arizona. They're bringing over into West Virginia. So they're starting to try to repopulate that area with elk?
Yep. Last January, they released 24 elk at the Tomlin Wildlife Management Area that borders Logan County and Mingo counties here in southern West Virginia.
Okay. Now,
And
go ahead.
unfortunately, we had a cow and a calf to get hit during the summer, and that calf was the first one born in West Virginia since back in the 1800s.
Wow. That's a long
But
time.
it was hit. Yeah, it followed its mother out on the road, and they were both hit and killed.
Oh.
And then we had 2 other ones. One died, I believe, from pneumonia, and then the other one died from an infection that it got when it injured its hoof as it was in one of the pens.
Okay. So how many did they bring in originally from Kentucky? Do you know?
24.
So now they're down to 20.
21. No, 21 because they didn't count. We had 24, and then to begin with, and then they had. We've got more calves. So we've had one or two more calves.
All right,
Okay.
good. The reproduction is starting to catch up with that group. Okay, cool.
And they're going to bring, you said, how many from Arizona they're going to bring over?
There is a team of wildlife DNR biologists out in Arizona now that's working. They've got them in the quarantine cages now, and they're roughly looking at about 60 that's going to come from Arizona. And then later on, I believe in the summer, there's going to be bringing about another 15 or 20 again from Kentucky.
Okay, all right.
Now, these will be in different parts of the states. Actually, here where I live, and you might laugh, but it's called the Big Ugly Wildlife Management Area.
Okay.
They're supposed to have some put there, and then there's a couple other places in Logan and Mingo counties in the Laurel Creek Wildlife Management Area that they're going to stock them in there too.
Are they going to commingle the Arizona and the Kentucky elk together and have them hopefully have that genetic crossbreeding between those two herds, or are they going to try to keep them separate?
I don't know actually. To be honest with you, isn't the Arizona's got bigger elk, don't they?
I think so. That's the reason I was asking, because I think that's a different subspecies out there than what they have in Kentucky.
I don't know exactly where they're going to put them. It's just going to be down here in the southern part. It could be up at the Tomlin WMA, or it could be the Big Ugly WMA. I don't know, but
Okay.
They said probably it's not going to be till around March before we get them in here.
Okay. Well, like you said, they got them quarantined. I got to imagine
It's getting close.
they're checking
90 days, right?
for whatever disease they check for. Plus, the big thing right now is CWD. They don't want to transport anything from another state that might have be contaminated with a disease, and then bring it and then turn it loose in a whole new area that's pristine. So,
and also too, they put a microchip in them.
okay,
They put the collars on them.
okay.
So they're monitored pretty heavy.
Oh yeah, they do that here in the state of Michigan with the elk and moose
And wolves.
No comment.
Danny's going to get his soapbox out now.
No, I'm not.
Sorry, I touched a nerve.
But anyways, yeah. So are they okay? How are they going to transport 60 elk?
How do they
They're
transport?
putting them in cattle wagons.
Oh, okay, they're going to travel over land.
Okay.
All right.
When they dropped ours in, they brought them in with.
Cut the horns.
Oh, they're going to take the antlers off. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because when they brought them to Michigan, they did a helicopter drop.
Yep. They tranquilized them, picked them up, flew them by helicopter downstate, and
They
dropped
put them in a
off.
huge saddle and strapped them.
Well, that's how they trapped them.
Okay.
They
Okay.
tranquilized them, and then they was able to go out and get them, do like what you're saying, because there was an article in the paper here and tell them what they were doing, and they were doing the same thing what you're saying. They tranquilized them, used a helicopter, and they would transport them one at a time, and they had a team waiting on them to do the evaluations, the blood checks, the age of it and everything else.
Right. Well, that's got to be exciting for your area.
Oh yeah, it's real good. I tell you what's really exciting. A friend of mine, which is in with me, his name's Roger Wolf. He's part of our UNJ local chapter, and he found one of the sheds of the wolves. They cut the antlers off and just left, and just where they didn't cut it off the head, where it shed it off back in the turkey fountain.
Okay, so he found the shed off one of the
Oh,
bulls.
that's cool.
Yeah. It was cut on both ends and just had just coming out of the head part, and he stepped on and found it.
That's pretty cool.
Speaking of John Brillhart, fellow West Virginian, is getting an elk update from you as he listens to the show. And Anthony Dale Setliff, Lim Walker game calls. The cherry glass sounds awesome.
Anthony just bought one. I mailed his out to him Monday, and he got it on Tuesday.
So he must be playing it.
You know, something we haven't talked about, getting back over to turkey calls, price range for the calls. Where do they start and where do they end? You know, that price range for people. And also the turkey sling. What's the cost on that?
Okay, on the turkey sling is $12 plus $3 shipping.
$15. Okay.
$15. The calls, my plastic double-side call is $30,
Okay.
and it comes with a hickory striker and a call bag.
Okay.
I didn't send you the call bags because I didn't have them at the time, but my call bag, and it's a protected you just slide it down in, and it's not going to make a lot of noise in your vest.
Gotcha.
The wood pots are $40, and I do glass, slate, aluminum, crystal, and when available, I can do ceramic and copper.
Okay.
And all but the copper and the ceramic are 3 1/4 inch surface, and they come with a wood soundboard. Now, you see on the bottom, if you look up through those holes, you'll see that piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
That's the soundboard on the inside of it. And now I do make anything that if you wanted a certain combo, like a glass over slate in a wood pot, single side, I can do that. Or if you want a slate over glass or aluminum over glass, All you have to do is tell me what what combo you want. You just want a regular cherry wood, glass over wood call. It's ready to ship out, and I can ship it the next day.
Okay.
But if you want one that has a glass surface with a slate surface, then I'll have to fix one up. But it's usually I can put it out in 2 days.
You mean side by side on the call, the top side of the call? When you say is it a double sided or a single sided with two different pieces in it?
The wood or single side.
And then you take
plastic or the double side.
Right. But okay, I got you. Yeah.
What I'm saying, the combo is on your soundboard on the single side. So some people will want like a glass soundboard.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Cool.
They make different combinations. I mean, and like aluminum, I just got the aluminum actually. I'll have to send you guys a couple of those because I got to get some more in. I've sold them all. And
okay.
The aluminum are so loud. I mean, it's a long distance call.
Yes.
It is when you get on a windy day or a rainy day or something like that. You're out. That call will scream to you. But some people will use aluminum over glass with a glass soundboard. So but I particularly like the wood. I like the way the sound is with the wood on the wood soundboard. I just use them.
And they can contact you on Facebook or Instagram, and you accept, I'm assuming, PayPal or whatever might be the form of payment?
Yep, PayPal, cash, and I can send you, they can PM me here on Facebook, and I can send them all the information they need. On my Facebook page, you can get on there and like it, share it, please, and you can see all the combination calls that I have. And if there's something on there that I may not have that you might be interested in, just PM me.
All right, we can do that. You know what, Tim? It has been a great pleasure to have you on for the show, welcoming you as a sponsor of Up North Journal. You'll be our sole caller this year.
Caller. He's going to come call for us here in the woods? You said he's going to be our sole caller. We're going to bring him to
I'm
Michigan?
waiting for him to answer that.
I wish.
Hey, when is I tell you what, Danny, when does the season open?
The third week of April.
Yeah, third week of April, and I'm going to hunt that month of May.
You're taking the May hunt?
Yeah.
I'll take the third week of April,
May,
probably.
So, yeah.
And then it goes like the third week of April, the last week of April, the first week of May, and then you have the
rest of May.
The rest of May to hunt.
Yeah. That's it.
Ours opens up Ours opens the 16th of April and goes for 4 weeks.
Okay, yours is just about the same,
About
close to the same time. Real
At
close.
the same time, yeah.
Yeah, real close.
All right.
So.
I tell you what, actually, I've already got a couple of guys that I've already promised to take. Let me check, and if who knows, if something works out, I'd love to come up.
Oh, we'd love to have you up here. Absolutely. Yeah, if you're ever up this way, definitely let us know.
Bring the wife up to Taylor.
Yeah. Actually, your wife is from Michigan originally, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. But no, Tim, thanks a lot. Thanks for sponsoring Up North Journal. And
we want to hear some good stories, turkey stories this year. So we're gonna get you back on turkey season, and we want to know how you did down there as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I look forward to it, and I appreciate the opportunity to, with Liam Walker and Up North Journal. I come across your all's live feed on Sundays, and most of the time I'm in church, but this is one day we don't have church of the evening, and we was able to make this happen. And I have looked forward to it ever since I've been invited. So,
well, the one thing we haven't said about you is you also live stream every Friday night at 8 o'clock.
Yep, I go live on Liam.
Live on the
Fridays at 8 o'clock.
And that's on Lim Walker Game Call Facebook page, correct?
Nope, that's on my personal page.
On your personal page, okay, all right. So,
yeah, I just share it through everything. I've got more I've got more friends on my personal page than I do on my Walker page.
Gotcha.
So I just do it on both of them.
Okay. So yeah, Danny and I both always share that. 9 times out of 10, I'm at work. and I'm out right now chasing basketball games. But the other night I did peek in real quick during a basketball game at halftime.
Right. I was at a Wild game dinner, so
we share those as well. So make sure you guys get over to his page on Facebook. Check out his live stream 8:00 Friday nights, and he's always over there talking turkey, talking calls, and other good stuff.
absolutely.
So, but it's been a pleasure having you on. We're going to wrap up the podcast here. For everybody that's on the live stream,
Stay tuned.
Stay
Just hang
tuned.
on.
We're not going to let him go just yet. We'll if you got any questions, we'll throw them his way. So, but for the podcast, that'll do it for us this week. As we always say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal. Okay. So,
All right. Anybody out on Facebook world
got questions?
got questions? Let's see what Facebook's telling us. Brent Farrell. I'll be tagging along when Tim comes to hunt with you guys.
That's my nephew there.
Christy.
He wants to hunt Michigan. Bring him up.
Christy says, "Come visit West Virginia. We'd love to have you."
I don't know if I
That's
could
my
hike
sis.
those hills. Not
He's
hills,
got a
mountains.
ranger.
Those are mountains.
He's got a Ranger, dude.
Yeah, we got a Ranger, Mike.
Okay, well, my fat little legs, they don't move quickly as they used to, so.
We'll drive you to the top, little buddy. Don't worry about it.
So
All right.
there you go.
All right, I like that.
Drive the old man to the top.
There you go. Something else we didn't mention that Tim is also part of Mossy Oak Pro Staff like we are.
Yeah, he is part of the Mossy Oak Pro staff, and he's been officially on the staff for just over a year now. I think January was your 1 year.
Yep.
Mike's been like 10 years, and I've been like 6, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It's been a long time. So, another great company that we're hooked up with and working with. How's that first year for you been with Mossy Oak? How's that going for you?
Oh, I loved it. I had a blast.
Now
This is a job I'd love to have.
you're on the turkey staff, I assume, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Todd Perkins staff.
Okay. So, are you going to stores? You going to NWTF events? How's it working for you?
We got a Cabela's here in South Charleston, which is about an hour away from me.
Okay.
So we do a lot of events there. We do a lot with the NWTF.
Okay.
And now in March the 3rd, I will be up in Parkersburg, West Virginia. That's up next to Marietta, Ohio. I'll be doing a seminar at the Armory with 3 churches. They're doing an outdoor expo.
Okay.
They invited me up to do a turkey hunting, calling seminar. And then the 17th, I'll be selling my calls at the West Virginia Bow Hunters Association in Flatwoods.
Okay.
They're having their annual banquet.
Oh, cool.
So I'll be doing it there. The 10th of February, we're going back to Cabela's with the Coyote Roundup.
Okay.
Cabela's, Mossy Oak will be there working there. Plus, I got one more wrote down somewhere, and I can't remember where.
Well, while you're-
on the other side. What?
While you're thinking, Christy says she has one too. I am take it she has a Ranger as well.
Yeah, she's my sister. Yeah.
Little brother sister rivalry in the Rangers.
Well, you guys are you racing? Doing a little NASCAR?
No. She. I tell you what, my sister there. She is a lot like me. She was raised up listening to turkey calls, just like I was.
Okay.
When it come right prior to spring, Dad would bring out the old the old Lynch box call. And
I love my Lynch. Yep.
That's all you ever use.
Yeah. Those there's something about those box calls from way back, and I gotta imagine that was it one that was probably one of like what they call the originals back in the '60s or '70s.
I got mine in 1987.
Okay.
Now my dad's has got the one with the toothpick holes in the lid
Oh, okay. Yeah.
that you used that you could cluck with.
Right.
Now mine doesn't have those.
Okay. Yeah, as those things are, the older ones are definitely highly coveted. I mean, I've heard they go for quite a bit of money too.
Oh, you get on eBay, they're a couple $100.
Yeah.
You've also got my brother's chiming in here, Terry. You have some videos out there. Do you have those on your live on the Facebook page? Your videos of turkey calling?
Yeah, I got those, and actually on YouTube, I have a little page on YouTube
Okay.
that I have some of my videos on it too. I just added 3 or 4 the other day.
The ones that we saw that you posted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're on YouTube as well.
And then your sister comes back with, they would wake me up every morning. They went hunting. Not a happy person.
But the thing about it, now listen here, what she's done now, we also done with her husband and her son Brent. They went through the same thing as me. You know, my dad, we raised Brent up to hunt, to kill. Brent killed his first turkey when he was, I believe, 10 years old.
Wow.
He killed his first deer when he was 9 years old. We've taken him pheasant hunt, squirrel hunt, hog hunt. I mean, he's done more before he was 20 years old than I have done before I'm 46.
Right.
There,
That's the way to start him.
That's the way to start them. That is the way to start them.
Teach him young, you know.
With Dad just turkey hunted, squirrel hunted, fishing, trout fished. That's all he done. So that's all we did. You know, That's all I got.
Nope, I hear you. I never went after a turkey till I was in my 40s. So
who took you?
Some guy named Mike.
When we get offline sometime, actually when we get together, if we ever come down or you come up here, we'll have to talk about Danny's first turkey hunting trip. I took him on
hunting with the serial killer.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's just one of them things that you just got to sit down and listen to. But he was successful. I will say that.
You turkey hunted with a serial killer.
That's what he called it.
Yeah, well, there's a story about that. When we're together, I'll fill you in. It's hilarious.
It was good.
Wait, what's this? Brett Farrell, I pheasant hunted one time with chicken pox. I was not about to miss any hunting trip.
Yeah, that Brett there. We took him when he was young, and it was his birthday. And I took him, and I paid for his hunt, and he had chicken pox all over.
He still went hunting.
Went hunting.
That's hardcore.
And then you see where my sister, she commented, now Brent and her husband Eddie are big coon hunters.
Okay.
They love to go coon hunt.
They'll have to tune in probably next week's show when we talk about that, because Mike went coon hunting Friday night.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably talk about that next week on the show.
First time I've been out in quite a while.
A few years.
Yeah, it's been, I want to say 3 or 4 years. I know it was before we had the problems here at the house with the tornado and the fire. So
and that was
13,
right?
Yeah, and it's 2008. It's been 5-6 years. So I got back out with a good buddy of mine, and it felt so good to be in the woods listening to. He's got some blue ticks, and it is so awesome to hear them dogs just start baying and getting on track. And when they tree, it's cool. It is just way cool. So if anybody's never experienced that, it's something you ought to try at least once.
Hey, Mike, have you ever listened to Jerry Clower?
No, but I know the name.
You're going to have to look up Jerry Clower and the coon hunting monkey.
The what?
The coon hunting monkey.
Okay, all right.
You got to listen to his act about the coon hunting monkey.
Okay, all right, will do. Definitely, I'll check it out. So, a couple more things coming in here.
So you try to pass off chicken pox as flea bites.
Yes, he did.
That's a good one. And James Carter said he deer hunted in Michigan for many years.
James is one of the men I was telling you about that worked at Cadillac and retired and moved back to Hart.
Okay. All right.
Cadillac, yep. I'm familiar with that area up that way as well. So
no, he worked at Cadillac.
Oh, worked at Cadillac, not in Cadillac,
No.
not the town of Cadillac. Okay, down in Detroit. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you what, folks, we'll kind of wrap this up here. We've got a few people still on, so if you got a question, real quick, throw it this way, or we're gonna
If
wrap
not,
up.
we'll wrap it up and let Tim go here, and he can enjoy his Sunday night and go talk to his family.
Tim, once again, thanks, brother. Thanks for spending Sunday evening with us, and thanks again for your support here at Up North Journal.
Hey, my pleasure. I enjoyed it. Had a great time.
We'll have to, like I said, we'll get you back on turkey season here. We'll see what you guys are doing down there, and we'll compare notes.
When's your turkey season end? Mid-May?
Yeah, 4 weeks. We got. I got my calendar.
You got 2 weeks in April, 2 weeks in May. 1, 2.
It opened the 16th, and then it'll go to the 12th. So it goes to the 12th.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we can have them on after that, and we can swap turkey stories.
I think that 12th of May, that weekend, that's a Sunday, I'm assuming.
That's Mother's
It's
Day.
Saturday.
Saturday. That's a Saturday. Okay, that weekend I'm going to be up north taking a first-timer. A guy I work with, he retired this year, and he's never been, and we're planning a trip up to our deer camp, and I'm going to take him turkey hunting for the first time. So hopefully we got a good story to tell when we come back, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about your weekend or your month as well.
Sounds great to me.
All right, dude.
All right, guys.
We'll let you go, and you have a good Sunday night.
You too, fellas. Stay safe.
All right. Talk to you.
All right. Bye-bye.